I was standing at the edge of my bed that night holding a handful of pills in one hand, while Bante, my dog, sat in front of me with eyes that seemed to pierce through the darkness of my room. The sound of Manila traffic outside felt like it was 1,000 miles away in that moment. All I could hear was his breathing slow, steady and alive. I was tired. I was tired of the fights at home, the bills we could not pay, the constant fear of not being enough. And I thought maybe it would be easier to just disappear. Maybe the world would be better if I was gone. But Bante growled low, a sound he had never made before. And in that growl, I heard something that made me pause. It was as if he was telling me to wait, to breathe, to remember that I was still alive. I dropped the pills on the floor and fell to my knees. Bante pressed his head against my chest and I sobbed into his fur. And for the first time in months, I felt something I had forgotten. Hope, they say in the Philippines, more than 4,000. People die by their own hands every year. We live in a world where darkness creeps into the hearts of even the strongest, where social media shows perfect lives while hiding silent battles where fear and pain become heavier than any storm we face. And in the middle of all that, we often forget that there are souls watching over us, souls that come with 4 paws, a wagging tail, and eyes that see what we cannot see. Have you ever felt that your dog knows when you are about to cry even before a tear falls? Have you ever noticed how they appear beside you exactly when your heart is breaking? Have you ever wondered if they are more than just pets? What if they are here to save you from yourself? What if they are here to protect you in a world that is losing its light? Bante saved my life that night, and it was not the only time he did it. There was a time when I was walking home from work late at night in the rain in a dark alley. I heard footsteps behind me, quick, heavy footsteps that made my skin crawl. Bante stopped and turned his body, blocking me, his fur standing on end. And in that moment, 2 men with knives appeared from the shadows, but Bante barked so loudly, so fiercely, that they backed away, disappearing into the night. I made it home alive, shaking but alive, and Bante looked at me as if he knew exactly what he had done. What if your dog was sent here for a purpose? What if the reason they sit by your side when you are sick, the reason they cry when you leave, the reason they wait for you, even when you have been gone for days, is because they were chosen to guard your spirit, to protect you from the darkness, to show you that you are not alone? There is a prophecy made by a man who could see the future while he slept, a prophecy that speaks about dogs, a prophecy that is happening now in our homes, in our streets, in every moment we feel alone. It is a prophecy that says, when the world is in darkness, when humanity is at the edge of chaos, these 4-legged guardians will awaken and remind us what it means to be loved, what it means to be alive. Let me share with you the story of that prophecy and how it is unfolding before our eyes. Let me tell you why your dog is more than you think, and why now more than ever you need to open your eyes to the truth that they are here for you in this time of darkness, to bring you back to the light. There was a man known as the Sleeping Prophet. His name was Elijah Cruz. He lived many years ago, and while the world was at war and fear covered the earth, Elijah would close his eyes and enter a deep sleep, and in that silence he would see the future. He saw wars. He saw the rise of machines that would connect the minds of all humans across the world. He saw storms and hunger and sickness spreading like a shadow over nations. But among these visions, there was one that was almost forgotten until now, a prophecy about dogs. Elijah saw that when the world entered a time of great shaking, when people would lose hope, when families would be torn apart by violence, when loneliness would become a silent killer, and when the earth itself would cry under the weight of greed, these 4-legged beings would awaken to their true purpose. He said that dogs would become living bridges between the seen and the unseen, that they would carry a light within them that humans could no longer see in themselves. They would come as guardians, protectors, and silent healers to remind us that love still exists and that we are never truly alone. During one of his deepest visions, Elijah spoke these words, and I will never forget them.
Remember this, my child, when the world grows dark and fear surrounds you, I send help in ways you do not expect. Look at the ones who sit by your feet. Look at the ones who wait for you with patience. Look at the ones who love you without asking for anything in return through them. I remind you that you are loved and that I am with you always.
These words are living in my heart now more than ever. I see it in Bante every day, in the way he watches me when I'm tired, the way he puts his head on my lap when I'm overwhelmed, the way he stands by the door before I even think of leaving for work, the way he seems to know when my thoughts are heavy and I am about to give up. Elijah Cruz said that dogs are not just animals, but souls sent with a mission to protect and guide us in these times when darkness feels heavier than the morning air. They are like lanterns walking beside us, reminding us to keep going, reminding us that there is still good in this world. If you have ever felt your dog looking at you, as if they are seeing something deeper within you, if you have ever felt that they know your pain even before you speak, if you have ever wondered why they refuse to leave your side during your hardest days, know that this is not a coincidence. You are witnessing the prophecy of Elijah Cruz unfolding in your own home. You are seeing the promise that even in the darkest times, love will find a way to reach you. And sometimes that love has four paws and a heart that beats with a purpose you may not yet understand. Elijah Cruz spoke of 3 waves in this awakening of dogs, 3 stages where their purpose would become clearer as the world moved deeper into chaos and transformation. And as I watch Bante and hear the stories of others, I see that these waves are already here. The first wave he described was the awakening of the senses. Dogs would begin to detect sickness in their owners long before any doctor could. They would sense when danger was near. They would bark or whine or block the door when their owners were about to step into harm. They would become living alarms of protection and guardians of health. I remember one morning I was rushing to leave for work. I was late and stressed, and Bante kept blocking the door. He would not move no matter how much I shouted at him. When I finally stopped and took a breath, I felt a pain in my chest so sharp it made me fall to my knees. It was a warning, a sign that something was wrong. I went to the hospital that day and discovered I had a condition that could have taken my life if I had ignored it. Bante knew before I did, and he saved me. The second wave Elijah spoke about was telepathic connection between dogs and their owners. He saw a time when dogs would respond to thoughts before words were spoken, when they would appear next to their owners exactly when they needed comfort. Without any signal or sound, he said they would begin to read the emotional states of their humans and respond with a love that was quiet but powerful. This is something I see every day. Bante knows when I'm about to cry, he comes to me and sits by my side, pressing his warm body against me, as if to say, "You are not alone." There are days when I am overwhelmed with worry about bills, about family, about the weight of life, and Bante will find me even if I try to hide. He will lay his head on my lap, and in that moment it is as if he is telling me to breathe, telling me that it will be okay. The third wave Elijah saw was the most powerful. He described dogs becoming energetic, purifiers transforming heavy and dark energy in homes and hearts into peace and light. He said they would act as spiritual healers, not only for individuals, but for families and communities, that they would bring light into spaces filled with anger, sadness, and fear. I have noticed that after arguments in the house, Bante will walk slowly from room to room. He will stop and stand quietly in certain corners, as if he is absorbing something unseen. Then he will shake his body and move on, and the air feels lighter, the heaviness in the room disappears, and somehow we all begin to speak softer to each other again.
My child, I use the simple to shame the wise. I use the small to show my power through these animals. I am teaching you to see the invisible, to feel the unseen, to understand that love is a force that can heal even the deepest wounds.
Elijah Cruz said that these 3 waves would not come in the future, but would arrive when the world faces its greatest trials. He said when fear covers the nations, when sickness spreads, when people forget how to love, and when families are divided, these 4-legged guardians will rise to their calling. If you have seen your dog acting strangely, sitting by your side when you are in pain, staring at you when your thoughts are heavy, refusing to leave you when you are sick or sad, know that you are witnessing this prophecy. You are seeing the second and third waves of awakening happening right now in your own home, in your own life. These dogs are here for you. They are here to guide you through the storms, to remind you that even in the darkness, there is light. They are here to show you that you are never alone, even when the world feels empty and cold. I did not fully believe the prophecy of Elijah Cruz until I started hearing stories from people around me, stories that sounded impossible, stories that carried the weight of truth in every tear that fell from the eyes of those who lived them. Liza Santos, a friend from my church, told me about her dog. Tala Tala was a small, quiet dog rescued from the streets with a scar on her ear and eyes that held stories of survival. Liza's daughter Mia was 6 years old, and one night Mia had a high fever while they were waiting for the medicine to work. Mia's breathing suddenly stopped in the silence of that midnight. Tala began barking so loudly that it woke the neighbors. She jumped on the bed, pawing Mia's chest again and again, and Mia gasped for air and started breathing again. The doctors later said that if Mia had gone without air for a few more moments, she would not have survived. Tala saved her, and from that day, Liza said Tala never left Mia's side, Dr. Carlo Mendoza, a veterinarian in Quezon City, told me about the increase in cases where dogs were detecting diseases. Before owners knew, Dr. Carlo shared about a Labrador named Coco, who started sniffing her owner's right side near the stomach again and again. For days, the owner thought it was just a habit, but Coco's insistence made her uncomfortable enough to go for a checkup. They found early-stage cancer in the exact spot Coco had been sniffing. It was treated early, and the owner survived. Dr. Carlo said he has seen dozens of cases like this, dogs detecting diabetes, seizures, and even depression before symptoms become visible. There was a young man named Jomar who told me how his dog Bono saved him during a typhoon in the province. Jomar was asleep when Bono started barking and pulling at his blanket, refusing to stop until Jomar woke up. Minutes later, the floodwater broke through the door, sweeping through the house. Jomar barely managed to escape to the roof with Bono in his arms. If Bono had not woken him, he would have drowned in his sleep. Also heard stories from shelters about how dogs would choose the people who needed them the most. There was a woman named Grace who came to adopt a dog after losing her husband to an accident. She was drowning in grief, unable to sleep for weeks. As she walked through the shelter, a small dog named Migo walked up to her and sat quietly staring into her eyes. When Grace reached out, Migo licked her hand gently. The shelter staff said Migo had never approached anyone before. That day, Grace took Migo home, and she told me that every night when she could not stop crying, Migo would lay beside her, pressing his body close until she fell asleep. Grace said Migo became her reason to wake up every morning. There was another story about a dog named Tara in a family that was falling apart. The parents fought every night, the children cried themselves to sleep, and the house felt heavy, like a cloud that would not leave. Tara would walk from room to room during these arguments, stopping in the corners where voices had been raised. She would sit quietly, then shake her body before moving on. Over time, the family noticed that after Tara's silent patrols, the tension would ease. Conversations would become softer. Apologies would come easier. Tara became a silent healer in a house that needed peace. These stories are not stories of coincidence. They are stories of the prophecy unfolding before our eyes. They are stories of dogs rising to their purpose as the world falls deeper into fear and chaos. They are stories that remind us that love finds its way, even when we think all hope is lost.
I have sent help in many forms. You have prayed for peace, for protection, for a sign that you are not alone. Do you see now that I have answered? Do you see now that in the silence of the night, in the bark of a dog, in the warmth of their presence, I am reminding you that you are loved, that you are seen, and that you are never abandoned?
These dogs are not just animals. They are souls carrying light into a dark world. They are protectors in times of danger. They are healers in times of pain. They are teachers of unconditional love in a world that has forgotten what love truly means. If you have a dog, watch them closely. See how they respond to your pain, how they guard you in silence, how they appear when you feel most alone. They are fulfilling the mission they were sent to do, to remind you that you matter, that your life is precious, and that you are never walking through this darkness alone. You might wonder why all of this is happening now, why these stories are becoming more common, why people everywhere are seeing their dogs act in ways that feel almost supernatural. Elijah Cruz spoke of a time when the world would be shaken, when fear would spread faster than light, when sickness would touch every family, when storms would rise, and when people would forget how to love and how to see each other. He said that during this time, the earth itself would change its frequency and that humans would feel the weight of this change in their hearts, in their minds, in their families. But he also said that in this darkness, there would be helpers sent to guide us, to protect us, to heal us, and among these helpers would be the dogs we call family. There is something happening in the world right now, something you can feel when you look at the news, when you see the fear in the eyes of your neighbors, when you hear the stories of loss and pain that fill your social media feed. People are hurting, families are breaking, people are losing hope and forgetting how to love. The rise of technology has connected us in ways that Elijah Cruz saw in his visions, but it has also made us more distant, more distracted. We scroll endlessly, seeking connection, but feeling empty inside. We post pictures of happy moments while hiding the tears. We cry alone at night. We are surrounded by noise, but our hearts feel more silent than ever. Elijah said that when these machines connect all humans, when the world becomes one giant network of voices and images, that is when the dogs will awaken to their true purpose. That is when they will rise as guardians of human hearts to protect us from the darkness we create for ourselves, to remind us of what we have forgotten.
When the world no longer hears my voice in the wind, when the hearts of my children are heavy with fear and loneliness, I will send signs through the simple, through the quiet, through the ones who love without words. Watch them, for through them I speak.
The pandemic shook the world, families locked inside together, jobs, lost dreams, paused sickness and fear filling every home. And during this time, many people noticed their dogs acting differently. They stayed closer, they watched more, they comforted their owners. In moments of silent breakdowns, they sensed the tension in the air and tried to bring peace into the room. Veterinarians have reported a rise in what they call intuitive behaviors in dogs' shelters, have seen dogs choosing their humans in moments of deep need, and families have found comfort in the quiet presence of a dog sitting by their feet as the world outside feels like it is falling apart. These are not coincidences. These are signs that the prophecy is unfolding. These are the moments when the dogs we have taken into our homes rise to their calling to be the guardians we need in a world that is losing itself to fear and chaos. If you have felt that your dog is watching you more closely, if you have noticed them staying beside you when you are sick or sad, if you have seen them reacting before something happens, know that this is part of something greater. Know that you are not alone in noticing these changes, because the world is changing and they are responding to this change by stepping into their purpose to protect, to comfort, and to heal. In this time when the world feels uncertain and heavy, your dog may be one of the helpers sent to guide you through the storm, to remind you that love still exists, that hope is not lost, and that even in the darkest nights you are seen, you are loved, and you are not alone. I want you to understand what this truly means for you, because if you see your dog only as a pet, you might miss the miracle that is living beside you every day. You might miss the quiet ways they are trying to heal you, protect you, and remind you that you are loved. The world is heavy. I know you feel it too. The fear of tomorrow, the pressure of providing for your family, the loneliness that creeps in even when you are surrounded by people, the silent battles you fight in your mind that no one else sees. These are the burdens that many carry in silence. These are the wounds that often go unnoticed. But your dog sees them. Your dog feels them. Your dog is there in those moments when you are about to break, when you sit on the edge of your bed with your head in your hands, when tears fill your eyes and you try to hide them. Your dog sees, and your dog comes to you. They lay their head on your lap. They look into your eyes. They stay close, as if to say, you are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are still loved. This is the meaning of the prophecy Elijah Cruz spoke of. This is the purpose they have come to fulfill in your life, to be a bridge between you and the love you have forgotten to feel, to be a living reminder that even in a world that feels dark, there is light in the loyalty of a dog. There is hope in their wagging tail. There is love in their quiet presence.
I see your pain. I see the nights you cannot sleep. I see the tears you hide from the world. I have sent you a friend who does not judge, who does not leave, who stays with you in the silence to remind you that I am with you always.
It is easy to overlook these moments, to brush them aside as simple animal behavior. But what if you opened your eyes and your heart to see them for what they truly are? What if you accepted that these are signs that you are not alone, that you are loved, that you are protected? Your dog waking up before you when danger is near, your dog sitting by your side when your heart is heavy. Your dog showing interest in parts of your body that later reveal sickness. Your dog reacting before storms or earthquakes. These are not coincidences. These are manifestations of their purpose in your life. They are living reminders of unconditional love in a world that often forgets what love truly means. They are guardians of your spirit, healers of your emotional wounds, protectors of your home and family. They are silent teachers sent to show you how to love without conditions and to remind you that even in the hardest days, you are not alone. If you have a dog, I want you to take a moment today to truly see them, to thank them, to sit with them in silence, to allow yourself to feel the love they are offering you without asking for anything in return. And if you do not have a dog yet, but find yourself feeling a connection to this message, be open to the possibility that when the time is right, a dog may come into your life exactly when you need them most to fulfill the mission they were sent for. In this world that feels like it is losing hope, your dog is a piece of hope. In a world that is filled with fear, your dog is a piece of peace. In a world that is losing love, your dog is a reminder that love still lives, that it is close, that it is here for you right now. As I reflect on everything that has happened in my life, I realize that Bante was never just a dog. He was never just a pet. He was a guardian sent to me in a season of darkness when I was ready to give up, when I was ready to disappear, when I thought the world would be better without me. Bante was there reminding me to stay, reminding me that my life still had purpose. He was there when I was alone on nights I could not sleep, when fear filled my mind, when tears fell silently. Bante would sit by me, his head resting on my leg, his eyes looking into mine as if to say, "I see you, I am here, you are not alone." He was there when I was sick, when my body was weak, when I was afraid of the future. He would lay beside me, watching me, breathing with me, comforting me without words. Through Bante, I saw the prophecy of Elijah Cruz come alive in my home. I saw what it meant for a dog to be more than an animal, to be a healer, a protector, a friend, to be a light in a dark world, a reminder of love when I had forgotten how to feel it. And I know that if you open your eyes and your heart, you will see it too in your own life, in your own home. You will see the quiet miracles happening every day, the moments your dog sits closer when you feel sad, the times they stand by the door before you even think of leaving, the times they stare into your eyes as if they see your soul. You will see that they are here for a purpose, that they are fulfilling a mission greater than you can imagine.
My child, I have not forgotten you. I have not left you alone in this world of darkness. I have sent help in the form of love you can touch, in the form of a friend who waits for you, who stays with you, who loves you without conditions. Remember, this love for it is a reflection of my love for you.
In a world that is losing itself to fear, to anger, to division, to loneliness, your dog is a sign that love still lives, that hope is still here, that you are not alone. They are a reminder that even when you cannot see the light, it is still shining through the quiet loyalty of a dog, through the soft touch of their paw, through the way they wait for you to come home every day. Do not ignore these signs. Do not overlook the purpose they serve in your life. Take a moment to thank them, to love them, to recognize the mission they are fulfilling every day as they stand beside you in silence, as they comfort you in moments of pain, as they protect you in ways you may never fully understand. The prophecy is not about the future, it is about now. It is happening in your home, in your life, in your heart. If you allow yourself to see it, you will understand that you are loved, that you are protected, that you are never alone. If these words have reached your heart, if you have seen your dog in a new light, if you have felt the quiet truth that you are not alone, then I invite you to take one simple step today. Share your story in the comments. Tell us how your dog has been there for you. Tell us how they have protected you, comforted you, or healed you. Your story can be the light someone else needs to hear. Your story can remind others that love still exists, that hope is still alive, that even in the hardest moments, we are not alone. If you want to continue this journey of awakening and understanding, if you want to learn how to connect deeper with your dog and discover the signs of their purpose in your life, I invite you to subscribe to this channel right now so you will not miss the messages that will guide you through this season of your life. We are building a family here, a family of people who are ready to see the miracles in their everyday life, a family of people who believe that even in the darkness, light can still shine, and you are part of this family now. So if you are ready to open your eyes to the truth, if you are ready to see your dog as more than just a pet, but as a guardian sent for you, if you are ready to walk in hope and not fear, then comment, "Awaken" below. Subscribe to this channel and share this message with someone who needs to hear that they are not alone. Together, we can remind the world that love still lives, that hope still exists, and that even now miracles are happening in the quiet moments we often overlook. Let your story be part of this awakening. Let your voice remind someone today that their life is precious, that they are seen, that they are loved, and that they are not alone.